Hey guys, Joel, moosedroppings.importsauce.com. Today we're going to do a down and dirty front strut shock assembly replacement on the 06 S40, the P1 there. Stick around, we're going to take you through it. It's not too bad, not too many special tools that you need. And after you've done one side, you can get the other one done pretty quickly as well. Okay, so a couple days ago we finished the driver's side. That's already buttoned up, so we'll be able to take you through the passenger side pretty quickly. We're not going to be talking about these Bilstein B8s in this video. We're just going to be going over general removal and replacement of the assembly in general. There are some nuances with these and with the current setup that's in there, but the overall process, removal and replace, is going to be pretty much identical. So let's go ahead and walk you through it, get started. We'll start off by breaking the lug nuts, getting this car up in the air, getting the passenger tire off. Okay, so just checking through VIDA, just for fun. The process they list to get this out is different than I've ever done it or anybody else I know has ever done it. They're indicating that the lower ball joint should come off to pull the hub off of the lower control arm. And as mentioned, never done it that way, and that seems, I don't know, a little bit more work than how we typically do it. So what we do is we get the steering arm off. That's going to be a 16 mil. What we like to do is use our pass through here just in case it needs the Allen key to secure it. So we get that off and we drop it down off of there, and then that'll allow us to move freely side to side. And then on the upper stabilizer bar, same thing, we go ahead and pull that guy off, and then disconnect the different things associated with it. So first we'll pull the ABS off, we'll pull the brake light off, and then brake these two. The size on yours is going to differ. These are the white line, fully adjustable, so but it's going to be somewhere between a 15 and a 17 for yourself. I will go ahead and put those torque specs up right here so that you can see what they are, putting them back on this one, and then we'll talk about the shock ones as well. So what I'm going to do first is get this hub kind of loosened up, and keep in mind everything up top, the 3 bolts or nuts, depending on which setup you have, I'll show you that as well, will stay in place, and then we will get this back bolt out, and then everything will be free to start dropping the hub down off of the shock assembly. Okay, so lower end off, ABS bracket off, nut is off of the stabilizer arm. As this starts coming down, this will straighten out, and then we'll pop it out at that point. Brake line back there is free, and off of the back, which was a 15 mil, that guy is out. So really the only thing holding this lower hub assembly to the strut assembly is just the pressure of the clamp on there. So what we're going to do is now get our persuader out, and we'll start alternating here, and it will start pulling this off the shock. And then over oh, I guess it is in view, we have a box of oil, and then also just some individual quarts. And what we may do is kind of, once this is free, to prevent this from flopping forward and overextending the axle joints, will kind of stabilize this to hold it in place while we take this off and mess with it. So we're just going to start hammering this down, out, and then pop this out after a few hits when it is straight, and then at that point we'll take you up top. Okay, so everything is free, a couple hits, and just slides down, but you can see the extension of that axle back there. So that's what we're gonna do, is get this off real quick, and then get this supported under there. We actually might just use the jack. So we're gonna handle that, and then we'll show you up top what we got going on to get off. Okay, so we are up top. 3 either nuts or bolts, depending on your configuration. Here is what the top hat looks like underneath here. If you do not have a factory or aftermarket strut bar, then you are simply going to have 3 bolts that go in with the washer and go down. If you have the factory strut bar, as we have here, you will have this setup where it still has the nut that will go through here, right? Yep. Oh, you'll have this nut that goes through, and then an extra or bolt, and then the nut on top to brace the strut bar. And in our case, we have neither of those, because as you will shortly see, we have aftermarket Silver Project camber plate top hats. So we're going to remove these, and depending on your configuration, it's either going to be 12 mil or 13 mil. And then once those are free, the strut assembly will drop itself down, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at it on the bench. Okay, so here we are. Next step is we have to get the top hat assembly off, the spring out and on to the new rig, and then the top hat assembly back on. This is where you might need something like this, a little spring compressor. This one is definitely, I would say, a little bit safer than the one that you would rent at the local auto parts store, right? So when you clamp this on, 4 points a clamp, as opposed to the other ones where just have the little hooks and you torque those down. We've seen that even on the best day, those things can shift on the spring. Super dangerous. This one's cool because once you put the spring in, you can lock, push the guy down. It's going to hold the spring in place. 4 points, and it's all connected as one. And then at that point, you just take the compressor to that thing, and it will crunch it down real quick. But easily enough, once the spring is secured, we will just take that nut off. Same thing, even on your factory one, there's going to be an Allen key in there. So either doing a pass-through or open-ended wrench while securing that. And that will get that assembly off. And then at that point, we will put it back in reverse order. I'm going to show you. Actually, I'll just show you right now. When your top hat goes back on, there is this little notch right here that we can see. And that is a directional notch because we can see that the top hat obviously has a taper to it, and that's because the top of the spring has a taper and starts to coil down. So on the top hat, this little indicator mark is meant to go straight down to this part right here, which will be straight down in the back. So that is what goes down. If we're looking at it from the front, this is what we would see. And on the back, that is where the bolt goes through. So it'll go in, settle into place. The bolt will go through there, dead, back 6 o'clock. And then as you see up top, the top hat little indicator should line up with that. And that's how you know that the top hat orientation on the spring is correct, which will further make sure that your mounting bolts are aligned where they need to be when it goes back into the engine bay area. So we'll get this off, get the new one suited. I'm going to show you a few things with regards to the dust boot and the dust boot retainer. In this case, the lack thereof, and tell you what to look for and make sure that you have a dust boot retainer for yourself, as well as talking about the bump stops there. So I'm going to go ahead and get the air compressor going, and we'll check back in. Okay, so the order of operations for the next part, the bump stop goes all the way up, into the boot, and then the boot goes down and sits, and that holds it. There's supposed to be here a little round gray retainer ring. These ones did not come with it, and you can't buy them separate anywhere I looked. So if you are pulling yours off and the new one does not have that retainer boot little gray thing that the bottom of the boot connects onto, you're going to want to make sure to pull that off of the existing one, transfer it over, and then that way you can make sure that the boot is all the way suited up. The top of the boot, this one's kind of hard to see. It's mashed up a little, but it has different notches on there, and then that actually goes and clamps on these little notches there. We go ahead and we put extra ring on there as well, just for extra sealing purposes. So we'll go ahead and get this one suited up on the Bilstein here, show you what that looks like. For our bottom boot retainer, what we're doing is actually just this piece of radiator hose, which fits perfectly on there and will give us something to put the boot over and clamp onto to kind of fill that gap and imitate the one that would have came with the factory. The Bilsteins do not come with that, and even when using the Bilsteins, that factory piece does have to be modified to fit. We found that on the other side this worked perfect. Okay, so one day later we realized that boot that was on there was not the factory boot, so I don't know where that came from. We went ahead and ordered this one up yesterday. It came in today, direct replacement Volvo part, but it is the professional parts Sweden one. It was $8, but that thing is brand spanking new, and it's like twice as long. It actually comes down and mounts up to the bottom there, so perfect. As you can see that we mentioned before, the top is going to just kind of connect into the top hat there. We have our indicator line on the back, which lines up perfectly with our indicator line here, so that we know that that is set. That's the complete assembled one. So we're going to go ahead and get this guy back on the car. We'll just show you our quick trip tips and tricks that we do for that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to make sure this is generally aligned the way that it would be. And then because the top hat is on a bearing, it does swivel. You need to make sure that the orientation is going to be correct for going up into the engine compartment. So then what I'll do is with one hand I will push this up, and then with the other hand I will reach up on top and secure the three nuts so that this thing is just hanging in its position. So let's do that. Next thing we're going to do, now that that is in and hanging, is I'm going to get the steering linkage connected just so that it holds the hub assembly up straight, and I think that'll get us ready to lower the jack and then fit the bottom of the shock right into the opening that we're going to. Typically what I'll do is get a pry bar and come in here and just kind of open that up a little, see if we can get some of the tension off of there, so that we can get that lined up and ready to go. So let's go ahead and get that set up. Okay, so that is in, and you can see how we've just kind of put that bottom shock tube into place. Make sure, as we see here, that our back wing is lined up to go straight down into the notch there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick the bolt through there, not thread it in, but stick it in, because on the factory shocks there was a notch on the bottom of this that the bolt would go in. These just stop where the bolt is, and on the other side I went a little too far, had to pull it up. So we're just going to put the bolt in there, or maybe just a extension or something, so that it stops where it's supposed to be. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pumping the jack and pushing that so that it gets straight. And then what I do is I just pump the jack and I start kind of tapping both sides back and forth with the persuader 3-pound hammer. And as the jack pressure is pushing up and you're tapping on that, it'll kind of find its straight line and it'll start tapping down. Okay, there we go. Here is a chart for all the torque specs, also down in the description. So get the tire put back on, take it for a little testy, and then schedule our alignment. Looks pretty good in there, right? Got the white lines over there in the back, the white lines right there in the front, the Bilsteins, Elevate lowering springs, Silver Project camber plates. But these brakes, man, they look like I'm gonna have to do something. But we might have a video on that coming up real soon.